Today I am gonna answer a question that I have been getting ever since Season of Discovery came out. Can warriors dual-wield tank? Yes, we are doing this. My warrior has a decent amount of gear from BFD and I figured, okay, you know, I guess at this point if I am not ready for it, it just doesn't work. So I just went ahead and tried it, let me tell you about it. My spec is very traditional, very standard for warrior tanks or warriors in general really. 3 improved rend, then we go heroic strike 3 out of 3 because heroic strike is threat, 1 parry, 2 improved charge, 1 tactical mastery because I like changing stances, sometimes you wanna overpower or something, and deep wounds. This is your main pumper and this is the reason why you want an offhand for this kind of deal, you know, the faster the offhand the better. This offhand is not even ideal. You can get like a 1.31 in BFD, that's the best one, it never drops. And then I am taking 3 points in cruelty for the crit, of course, crit is damage, crit is threat. Now my approach is the following, I am playing the hamstring spec, right? You spam with filler hamstring to get wind fury procs and weapon damage procs, like everybody does in the dual wielders, but what if we do Thunder Armor instead of hamstring? Then maybe that's gonna be a good tank, right? We can't go Devastate because it requires a shield, but in theory our better rage generation should offset that. I am so confident in the rage generation, I am even taking Consumed by Rage and I am taking Rangy Blow to get the most damage possible. Of course, Single-Minded Fury for the offhand damage, you know, 10% damage when dual wielding, that's a no-brainer right here. However, I am gonna be going defensive stance right here for 2 important reasons. First of all, you get a 30% extra threat modifier, that's better than losing 10% damage. And secondly, revenge. What is revenge over here? Every time you parry or dodge, because remember you cannot block, no shield, you can use it. It costs only 5 rage and it does a crap ton of threat. I don't know why. This thing is the lifesaver, okay? It costs next to nothing on rage, it can proc Wind Fury, it can proc all your weapon procs, and it is just great for staying rage cap the whole way through. This is gonna be like our main thing, we wanna do this on cooldown. As long as we can do Revenge, Thunder Armor or Raging Blow every GCD, remember Raging Blow doesn't cost any rage, our damage and threat is gonna be pretty good. We are basically a DPS warrior, but the boss is giving us rage now. That reminds me, if you wanna make this build work, we are gonna have to take a few questionable measures. And by that I mean screw the healers, I didn't come to BFD to make friends, I came here to pump! You have to keep rage stacked all the time. You get everybody buffed up and you are ready and you go. If they get a drink, they get exactly 10 seconds because that's how long blood rage is gonna last out of combat, so you can stay at 80 rage. You pop your blood rage at 59 rage and by that time, by the time it ends, you get 79, and that means that as soon as you pull the boss, you're gonna get enraged back and you're just gonna pump with Raging Blow. Very, very important. Another trick that is gonna get everybody mad is that if you are running low on rage, you remember you can just turn against the boss and get hit from the back and maybe he can crit you that time. Yeah, screw the healers by the way. We are gonna need top of the line buffs as well. One of the main advantages of having an offhand is that you can put Black Fathom Sharpening Stone on it and that helps you with hit 2% hit for free, that is huge. Of course you do not put it on your main hand because you want Wind Fury on it. Then we are gonna take Elixir of Ogre Strength for strength, lesser agility, that's the other elixir. Your food is gonna be any stamina food basically, there is nothing better. And of course do not forget the Black Fathom Boon buff and the Dark Moon Fairy if you get it. Also, if you can get a summon to BFD, you can also go to the Barrens and talk to the Quillbor and you can get the Razor Hide buff, it's like a second turns, you know, more damage. Okay, let's go to a dungeon and let me meanwhile explain to you how to do the rotation. You wanna pull, you wanna do 1 Thunder Armor and then you are gonna Blood Rage into a Raging Blow. From now on we are gonna spam Thunder Armor until we get a Revenge proc, of course. Revenge is better, that's our best threat. And remember, Raging Blow is gonna come out of cooldown just before Blood Rage ends. So you wanna be ready to spam it. After Blood Rage ends, you have exactly 8 seconds to hit 80 rage, so you can do another Raging Blow. That means you gotta slow down your Thunder Armor spamming as much as threat allows to make sure that you get it. If you wanna be a real G, you gotta pop a Rage Potions. You're gonna see in BFD I pop a lot of those. You should also, in between every Thunder, you should find the room in your thread to pop a Demoralizing Shout in it, it's very important. Once you hit 80 rage, the priority is simple. Raging Blow over Revenge over Thunder Armor. From now on, your goal is to hit 80 rage every 12 seconds so you can skip spamming Raging Blow. Thunder Armor is more costly than Hamstring, so you may have to slow down to be at the top if you get a little unlucky. The Rage Wiggle is real. The Rage Wiggle is kinda complex and you should practice it, but the way I find it easiest is that as soon as you get Rage from the Consume by Rage, you drop all your Rage to 40 and then you stop doing stuff until you get 80. You should get 80 way before the Enrage ends. And remember, as soon as you hit 80 Rage, you wanna dump a little so you can proc Enrage again over and over. Okay, now that I explained the method to my madness, it is time to test it in BFD. By the way, I had to pog it because my guild told me that if I ever dare step on the raid as a dual-wield tank, they are not going. Fair enough. I didn't tell the healers that I was gonna dual-wield tank it. They were not happy when they saw me. Despite my healers' complaints, I was not taking significantly more damage than what I have in a shield. I would say it was about 10 to 20% depending on the fight. In a fight where the boss does magic damage, you cannot even feel it, but in a fight like Lorgus Jet, that hurts! I also came to notice a problem that you do not notice in dungeons. You may think you want a fight where most of the damage is magic like I said, but you think you do, but you don't. You see, the bulk of your threat is revenge, and it's a low cost ability, very good. But at the same time, if the boss is something like Baron Aquanis who doesn't auto-attack you much or at all, you cannot use it. And as such, in fights like Lady Saberes, where I am taking 2 mobs, I am pulling very respectable numbers for a tank. I am doing like 120, 130 DPS. That's about on par as I would pull with this gear on a DPS spec. But on Aquanis, I don't even show up in the DPS meters. Holding aggro, however, is not very hard. Only a Warlock was pulling aggro off me, which he was top DPS, so fair enough. But it was nothing I couldn't come back with a taunt. I was abusing rage potions a lot to keep this build afloat. But overall, I gotta say that even if this build looks cool and it can do a lot of damage in very select fights, Dual-Wield is still inferior to Devastate. Unless you are rage capped constantly because you got way more gear than I do and the boss is hitting you very fast, a full sword and board is gonna outperform my spec in damage, in threat, and obviously on mitigation. So the damage from an offhand weapon does not at all justify losing Devastate, sadly. So yeah, this build is a nice novelty I guess, and I do believe that you can make it work as long as the healers feel like healing. That was quite an issue when they saw that I had no shield, they were kinda rioting, but it is viable. Sorda. I am not gonna try it again, people got way more mad than I expected, okay? I am sorry. Subscribe, leave a like, join the Discord, and thank you for watching!